Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/AITA. In today's episode, AITA for telling my wife I don't care about her dreams? AITA for taking my parents' assignment too literally and being too honest? AITA for blocking an Airbnb's view of my home? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. AITA for telling my wife I don't care about her dreams? My wife wants to be an influencer on TikTok and YouTube. She has been creating mommy content and content about her day-to-day life. When she told me this is something she wanted to do, I didn't have a problem with. I only said that I don't want our children, for M to F, in any of her content. I didn't monitor her channel because it didn't really seem necessary. I recently watched her channel because I thought it'd be cute, so see what she does in her day-to-day life. I found our children faces in almost all of her content. I told her straight up she needs to remove all of her content. She said that she knew I wouldn't agree, but she doesn't think this is a big deal. I don't like children content. I feel like a lot of the time when you see that children make profit, they become less of your kids and more of a product, and your interactions become more performative, and I can see the same thing has happened in her because she posted a video of her getting our 2-year-old out of a tantrum and how she deals with it. But how is your first instinct to record and hold a camera whilst our baby is crying? She started crying, saying that she built this up and this is her dream and deleting her content will ruin it, and I said I simply don't care. If you don't delete it, I will consider a divorce. I know a lot of people have children on their social media, and I don't mind an Instagram or Facebook post, but to make videos seem too intimate to share. She told her friends and even hinted on her social media accounts that she has an over-controlling and narcissistic husband that doesn't want her on social media. I'm currently being ridiculed by her friends. Am I being over-controlling or narcissistic? Edit, someone asked what kind of content. The content isn't really harmful, just her feeding them and playing with them, but the two types of videos I have problems with is her recording our children tantrums, and our 2-year-old still doesn't like clothes. We are trying to get her to wear them more, but our house can be hot, so she is in diaper a lot. I don't like the videos of our daughter in her diapers. NTA people who make profits from their kids' misery are the AHs here, and it seems like your wife is more interested in being a TikTok celebrity than being a caring wife and mother. No one should ever be shilling out their kids for likes and imaginary internet points. There's going to be a whole generation of traumatized adults who had the entirety of their lives exploited by their parents on the internet for profit. It needs to be illegal. NTA monetizing children is gross. You can have a successful mommy channel without exploiting those you are meant to protect and claim to love. Exactly, when she first started she didn't post them. So I know it possible to share your life as a mother without actually showing the kids. She has an over-controlling and narcissistic husband. Talk to a lawyer. Your kids are not props. NTA. Yeah, I mean, narcissists are only concerned with themselves, whereas he's clearly concerned for his kids. Do people just pick out words with the most syllables so they think they sound intelligent? NTA. Problems are starting to arise already, and she's not even viral yet, I presumed. I would get an attorney over this because she's putting her wannabe influencer lifestyle ahead of her family's welfare. Going against you and doing this behind your back will not end well if you don't put your foot down. Absolutely NTA. Children are taken advantage of all the time by TikTok and influencers. Kids have no idea what social media is. They can't consent to being online forever. Not to mention the amount of weirdos out there. It's been proven that videos with kids get watched and saved more. Especially when they are in revealing clothing. Protect your kids. AITA for taking my parents' assignment too literally and being too honest? My parents called for a family meeting last Sunday and said they were realizing that we didn't have the happy little tight-knit family they had expected to have. They expressed that we had all been closer when we were little kids. For context, it's me, 16M, my brother James, 14M, and my other brother Easton, 12M. But now it felt like we never spent time as brothers, especially me and James, and that sharing a room, they would have expected more from us. My parents said they wanted us to all be totally open and honest about how we felt and to express if we had any issues with the family to get out of the way. They said they weren't going to take a turn until after the three of us spoke first. And we couldn't leave until we opened up and said everything. I told them I felt like they had somewhat unrealistic goals, that they ignored some stuff that had been mentioned to them in the past that would have made the lack of closeness less of a surprise, and that it was weird for them to pretend they had no idea of anything going on. I admitted that I hate sharing a room with James. That personality-wise, he and I clash, and that he relies too much on being the younger brother and getting his own way, which annoys me. I said I had told them this before. James will set up these sleepover nights for him and me on the floor, and he'll expect me to play football outside with him until it's close to midnight and then go in and watch movies that bore me to tears and sleep in our sleeping bags instead of our beds. I said he started insisting we do things he enjoys when we were like 8 and 10, and ever since that point hanging out with him has not been fun for me. It has not made me feel closer to him. I admitted that I would rather share with Easton. I also said I had brought this stuff to my parents' attention before. And even complained when he was messing up my side of the room and left me to clean up, which my parents expected me to do instead of him. I also mentioned that I hate hanging out with his friends who I have nothing in common with. I told my parents they overlooked James being mean to Easton. That it might be due to jealousy and resentment that I'm closer to Easton, or it might be due to Easton being the youngest. But they would never let me say to James what James can say to Easton. I also said they treat us like we're little kids. They will tell us to go hang with much younger kids and do their activities at family houses, and they'll tell us no video games until we play outside. And that even after 16 years of knowing me, they still can't accept that I don't like sports, and it's not my idea of fun to kick a ball or run around, and it never has been. James was upset about the stuff I said about him. Especially about not wanting to hang out with him and his friends. My parents were furious with me and said I had no right to say all that. I said I was doing what they asked, and they said that wasn't what they asked for. AITA? NTA. Your parents didn't think this through. You did, though. If you had a therapist in the room, they would have applauded you for getting to the heart of the matter, as long as you weren't gratuitously cruel to your mid-bro in how you said it, such as by name-calling, contemptuous looks, etc. You deserved an A here. You understood the assignment perfectly and were open and honest. Parents, why don't you guys have the cookie-cutter relationship we've projected onto you? Be completely honest. Opie answers honestly. Parents, surprised Pikachu face. Maybe they shouldn't be asking questions they don't want the honest answers to. Opie is NTA. NTA, and your parents were fools to think a conversation like that was ever going to go well. I guess just like pretending you were one big, happy family, you were supposed to lie to preserve the illusion. They are completely wrong for being upset with you. Truth hurts sometimes. My parents said they wanted us to all be totally open and honest about how we felt and to express if we had any issues with the family to get out of the way. My parents were furious with me and said I had no right to say all that. I said I was doing what they asked, and they said that wasn't what they asked for. That's exactly what they asked for. NTA. NTA. They asked, you answered. You might suggest to them that if they'd like to explore this further, family counseling with a neutral therapist might be more productive than asking for honesty and then yelling about it. I think you're really going to like college. AITA for blocking an Airbnb's view of my home? I've already posted this asking for legal advice, but thought I'd ask for moral advice too. Last year, we bought a historical property with a fair-sized chunk of land. The previous owners had ran it as a small hotel but couldn't keep up with the pace at their age anymore. We turned the property back into a private residence. A main country road runs right by the longest edge of the unfenced garden, so we decided to plant hedges for privacy and to block off access in case my nephews visit and play football, etc. There is a small gardener's cottage right at the edge of this line, which was sold separately when we bought our home. We made sure to keep any bushes between us and them on our side of the property line. We were unaware that the elderly couple had sold the cottage to a relative of theirs and that he had planned to turn it into an Airbnb. We only know this now as after a summer of growth the owner had finally noticed the small hedge and realized what we'd done. He and the couple have sent official-looking letters stating we are impeding their reasonable enjoyment of the property, as they had planned to market the cottage as part of the property with views of a historical landmark, and once our hedge is full height that view will be greatly diminished if not almost entirely gone. So AITA for potentially damaging someone's income by planting these hedges? NTA. They had planned to market the cottage as part of the property with views of a historical landmark. Too bad. We are impeding their reasonable enjoyment of the property. No, you're impeding their enjoyment of your property. As is your right. If OP wants another angle, they could check with the local authority whether short-term rentals are even allowed. Our city doesn't, unless it's a proper hotel/motel. NTA. Unless they plan on paying you for your landscaping and upkeep of the historical property that you own. Marketing their property as being able to look at yours 24/7 sets you up to have your privacy violated. They know they don't have any legal leg to stand on, or they would have gone that route instead of sending you fake letters, which could be illegal depending on context. Privacy was our original concern. We know it's a nice house and fairly in the middle of nowhere, so we naturally get a lot of people staring as they drive or walk by. We don't mind so much that they can see the house at all, it's just if we're outside, or in the kitchen on an evening, that side of the house, you feel somewhat like a zoo animal at times. I have a right to your property for my viewing pleasure. LOL, yeah, that's not how it works. You're our NTA. Not just that, but I have the right to make money by using the view of your home as a selling point for our shitty wannabe hotel. NTA, nip this in the bud, get a lawyer and have them send an official letter to them to not harass you. This is your private property now and they have no say on what you do with it. NTA, their plan was to make money by having people look at you in your private home. That is not reasonable enjoyment. Ha ha ha, no. NTA. Reasonable enjoyment of property doesn't include views. Which is why property that can't be built out or have obstructed views is so valuable. What's more, you're absolutely entitled to privacy on your own property, no one else has a right to view you. In some cases it does, but normally towards natural features like the sunset, mountains, or beaches. Not to your private dwelling. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.